Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And I decided to go ahead and open up this one. My picture may have been upside down. I don't know. I just cropped it. I don't know if it flipped it or what. But anyway, this came out of the Minotaur Trading Company subscription service, the Ration of the Month for October. And it says part 2 of 3 is because there are 2 components in addition to this one for what's known as a solo overnight theme for some of the items that they were including in the Ration of the Month, the Survival Kit of the Month. Then there's the, there is the Elite, and then they came out with the Extreme. So there are 4 different options for this subscription service. And apparently they had some of these left over. So when my mystery box got packed, this was put in it as one of the ration, the complete rations. Now, for those that did receive this previously, they mentioned that because this is a Mylar bag, the same kind that we use to put our dry food in when we want to store it for long term. This is the same type of bag, and this one has a tear notch down here, pretty far below the seal. Now, when this bag was actually filled from the bottom. Sometimes you can get Mylar bags that are open at the bottom, and I've had those before. And then the top end of the bag is completely sealed. So in order to preserve as much of the bag as possible, I'm going to use my scissors to cut right underneath this seal. So now I still have plenty of tear notch that I can use when I go to reuse this bag. So I'm going to start pulling the items out. This is a Nestle Cocoa Mix. I mean, this bag is stuffed. I got Italian breadsticks. That's a perfect thing to match up with spaghetti. Got raisins. There might be a couple of extra items in here that I will not bother with, since there is a lot of extra in here. It's a chocolate hazelnut it's a protein shake. Now this is a standard MRE spoon. Got an FRH, flameless ration heater. This one was produced 2 years ago. Of course, I won't be using that. So this is regular cheese spread. This is the sleeve with the nutritional info for this, the spaghetti. And then these sleeves always have this extra stuff on the other side. Here is the retort pouch itself that has a spaghetti. (2020) production date on this. Got lemonade drink mix. That's a Minotaur item. A chocolate chip Pop-Tart, a single. A white book of matches, but made by D.D. Bean and Sons, not Eddie Match. So all of the accessory type items were just dropped in loose. So here's creamer. There's another lemonade. So got 2 lemonades. I'm going to hold on to this one. And I'll just prepare this one. This is a packet of toothpaste. There's a pack of sugar. Taster's Choice coffee. This is maple brown sugar oatmeal. Better Oats brand. I will not be bothering with that because I'm already going to have enough food as it is. Got a beef bouillon. I won't be using that. Got a wet wipe. There's a packet of pepper, a packet of Splenda, not going to get used, another packet of sugar, I'll save that one, a packet of salt, and an orange Lifesaver candy. So all of the items that I'm not going to use are going to go right back into here. And I'll use another bag for trash. So this protein shake I'm going to sit on that. Of course, the cocoa mix, I'm going to sit on that one. I will probably toss some of those in my camping food bag. I'll just toss the FRH in there too, since I'll not be using that. I have a Walgreens bag that is off to the side that I will be putting my trash in. So here's Impulses here. Very early in the AM over there. But glad you could make it. So that is the lemonade powder. So you got the Chilsuk in here. There's Dub C, Long time no see, dude. Hope you're doing okay. Now, even if you could only drop in here for a second or three, it's still good to see you in here. There's Burger Butt and Burger Butt. Wyoming is here. Yeah, Smokey has not been on for pretty much the whole of this month because of life biting him in the dupa. When he's ready, he will fill everybody in on what's going on. But everybody wants to see Dub back making videos. And even same with Jack of Trades. He hasn't made too many videos except when he gets something in, he will pop up a video of what he gets in. Of course, life has probably been keeping him busy too. So that is a lemonade all mixed up. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take these Italian breadsticks into the kitchen along with the spaghetti. I'll put the spaghetti in the pot, and then I'll just have these in the kitchen getting warm. And then I will come back with the water for the coffee. And I'll be right back. I'm going to straighten this up just a hair. Okay, I am back. Getting the scissors back out again. These are just straight up raisins, not the osmotic. I can't stand them things. I'm going to cut the pouch for the Pop-Tart this way. See, will it be double wrapped? Nope. So this is just a chocolate drizzle. Angry Blacksmith is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So this is, for those just coming in late, this is the October ration of the month that was part of the Minotaur subscription service. And this one got included as one of the 2 rations that was in the mystery box, which I ordered from Minotaur. And it had a few extra items in there that you would normally not find in a standard USMRE. This one, it did not put any rear roll in there, but I'm okay with that. But instead of gum, a Lifesavers candy. There's a chocolate hazelnut protein shake, which I'm not using. There is a packet of maple brown sugar oatmeal, which I'm not using. And there was a packet of toothpaste. The toothbrush would have been in another component of this overnight series of kits that was part of the subscription service. I mean, as long as you have a decent quality travel toothbrush and you have a few of these toothpaste packets, you can still take care of business without having to lose a toothbrush after one use. But when I did some of the Spanish rations, especially the breakfast one, which comes with a toothbrush, I kept all those toothbrushes in their wrappers Not only for future travel should I want to use one of those for that. They're also good barter items. So that's why I keep them. In fact, a lot of the items that are in here, like the wet wipes, I save those. The spoons and other ration utensils all go into my bags of plastic utensils that I save for when there would come a time where I have to seriously cut back on my water use. Then I would start using those items. They can be disposed of. And I would go to my paper tableware, like my plates and bowls and cups, things of that nature. And if I can get the actual paper ones, those can be disposed of by burning, so you can get two uses out of it. You eat your food off of it, and then if you need to stoke up your fire or use it as tinder, there you go. I just ate some of these raisins. These are pretty fresh raisins. If these are osmotic, they would have a kind of a greasy texture to it, and they have a bit of an aftertaste. And as osmotic raisins and cranberries get older, they get even weirder. And the taste really starts going downhill. See, this lemonade is already completely dissolved. There is a gray man prepping in the house. He is in Idaho, and Staff Sergeant is actually a reference to his wife, who is living still in California, and then when she makes her trips to Idaho, she will bring things to him, because eventually she will move in there full time. But right now, she is still got stuff to do in California. But she will have stuff for the grandkids. As well as stuff to stash at Gil's house. So there's two Gray Man prepping channels. Gil he spells it with A in the word gray, and then there's the Grey spelling. He is down in Florida. And he recently moved into a new house. that is not a rental, so he can do whatever he wants to make it an even better fit for his family, instead of having to be restricted to what the landlord allows you to do on the property. But he will still do some things as he did, like using grow bags for his plants, because, when you're in hurricane territory, you may need to move stuff fast in order to prevent your plants from getting destroyed. So by putting them in grow bags, he can haul them inside. That way they are safe from being taken away or destroyed. Or at least less likely to be destroyed, especially if they're not put by a window. So Gil is doing stuff while he listens. So I'm going to go back into the kitchen. I am going to get the Italian breadsticks and the cheese spread. I think this might have worked a little bit too well. I put the burner that I had my kettle on for my coffee water. I put this on that burner after I took the kettle off. But I use that little dome lid that I normally use to bring back my my retort pouch from the kitchen. So it got a little scorched down there, but that's okay. But they're warm. I just wanted to experiment to see how well that would work. And then the cheese spread, I just had it sitting right on top. I'm going to have to change this angle just a little bit so you can see more of the tray. There's my Crasher in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So there is there's a breadstick with some of the cheese on it. These do taste a lot better when they're warmed up. It's a taster's choice coffee in there. I'm going to check the chat before I go back into the kitchen. So now I will go back and get the spaghetti, and I'll be right back. I am back. And I got one additional thing. I'm going to dry the pouch off. Get that out of the way. I shake the food down below the tear notches. As they run this way. Although if I really wanted to, I could cut it along this way, but I'm not gonna. Didn't open all the way, but this will work. You know what I gotta do? You're, I know, I bet you know what I'm gonna do. The extra item that I brought in. I'll get the focus back in there on that. By itself, it tastes like Chef Boyardee. Now, I like Chef Boyardee. You know, I keep it in my preps. You know, I don't eat it all the time, but it's just one of those things that is a good quick meal. And you can heat it on a camp stove. In fact, one of the people that I've camped with in the past, and will do so in the future, what she has done is she will just put the can on top of her camp stove, or if we're using an open fire and there's a grate, a grill grate, she'll just put the can on top of that when the fire's pretty much just hot coals where it's not a lot of flame going on. Heat it up that way. Or if you have one of those alcohol stoves or an Esbit stove, you can just put the can on top of the Esbit stove, or a pot stand that you either have or you just put together for your alcohol stove. And you can heat it up that way. And you could also do this with a piece of your breadstick, dip it in the spaghetti. Referring back to Gil's wife, reason why he refers to her as a staff sergeant, was when she was in the military. That was the rank that she had when she left the military to go into civilian life. And she was in a unit of drill sergeants. So she actually was the leader of a group of drill sergeants. But now she does other things, but he will still call her the staff sergeant. DeCarlos Perry is here. Thanks for dropping in. I hope you enjoy your prize that you're getting from Nation MRE Info when it gets to you. So he will probably get those shipped off pretty soon if he hasn't done so already. Yep, Sean Hack. So that's awesome that you won from a couple of the other guys. Now that's awesome. Now, if you get both of them at about the same time, I guess you'll be sitting good for a couple of days. And I bet the little guy will enjoy watching you open those boxes up. I'm going to squirt a little bit of this cheese on the spaghetti, just for the heck of it. Last night, I was hanging out with my family. My mother could not be with us because she's still in the rehab center. Her intestine, where the abscess was, has not completely healed yet. And she still has the drain hanging out of her belly, so. But the dirt we heard last night was that she will get out of there on Tuesday. And because she will still have that drain, she is going to get some assistance with managing it. Because the doctor will want to know how much comes out of it every time it's emptied. And if she's on any new meds, she can get help with making sure she's taking those at the correct times. So she did not get my gift to her yet, but she will. My oldest sister has the 2 bottles of the mint Walgreens antacid, which is the only one that she can tolerate. And there are only 2 places where those can be found other than trying to buy them online. I think Walgreens and Walmart. So every time I see them when I'm shopping for stuff for myself, especially when Walgreens will have it either buy one, get one free or buy one, get one half off, I will get 2 bottles. That way I keep her supplied. So I'm basically helping her prep in that sense. This and that with Matt in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, we did not get anywhere near the amount of snow that was originally predicted for Des Moines. Initially, they were saying we were going to get almost 2 feet. Then they cut it down to 6 to 9 inches and 3 to 6 inches. We got maybe 3 to 4 inches as of early Friday morning when it stopped. And then it was just downright cold. But Thursday, we stayed colder than originally predicted. But Friday morning, I did get up early, and I caught a 7:15 bus to go to the downtown station. Then I switched to another bus to go to the mosque. And I was walking into the building at 7:45. So then I started the lunch prep. And I did as much as I could until the other woman drove in. And it took her a little longer because she's not used to driving in this crazy weather, but she made it and we got it done. But I had my wool socks on, I had long johns on underneath, heavy sweatpants, which I had on underneath an overdress called an abaya, and I had a heavy weight shirt on underneath that. And I wore my down coat, which is longer than the one that you saw me wear in my November camping videos. That's the one I usually wear all the time. The down one has a liner from an older coat that I pinned inside. And I did that because the down feathers tend to slip out through the stitching and then get stuck to my clothes. So that coat liner from an old coat that I used to have years ago, that keeps that from happening. Any feathers will cling to that and not to my clothes. Plus, it's just an extra layer of insulation. So I wrap myself up like a burrito. There is Daddy here. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, we got more snow coming down. It started this about middle of the afternoon. But it stopped probably maybe about an hour ago, something like that, or two. Temperature is holding at 13 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, you be careful out there, Matt. Don't overdo it. Don't get yourself into trouble. And and that can get some people into trouble if they're not careful. And nothing has been done since Thursday, except for the sidewalk that runs along the street. Yeah, I went out today to check my mail, which I did not do yesterday. We had mail service here yesterday, but I didn't go out and look because it had come after I left with two of my sisters who picked me up. And then when they brought me home, I just went straight up. Didn't go back out again until this afternoon when I went to check the mail and take out what I scooped from the litter box. But the driveway, the parking lots have not been dealt with since we had the big storm. And our city originally, the code would have required sidewalks to be cleared by this morning. But because of the extreme cold, that got pushed off till tomorrow morning. But now that we got more snow, that'll get pushed off again. Or you have to have it done 48 hours after snow stops falling. And if the person or people who are responsible for that particular property have not done it by then, anyone going by there can report it to the city. And then that will get checked out, as a city employee will go by there, see what it looks like, And if they agree with the person calling it in, then a warning will be left on the property to have it taken care of. And then if need be, it gets escalated. And as I said before, the previous place where I lived, at that time, the management company that was hired, they didn't want to do it. So I reported the property, and then they dumped us as a client. Because they didn't want to deal with complaints from many of us. So then the residents themselves decided we took matters into our own hands. Last winter there was a bag of ice melt that was just inside the door. It was available for anyone to throw some out. And I've done that, I did that a couple of times. When the steps or the landing were a bit icy, then I would throw some of that down. But we didn't have a whole lot of winter last year. Being this is December 25th, this is our first really big storm. We got a few more months to see how the rest of winter's going to be. Breadstick crumbs, I just throw them into the spaghetti. But we haven't seen the ice melt put down by the doors for anyone to use. Of course, people also use that bag to prop the door open when they were carrying stuff in or out of the building. Yeah, that is a problem. I mean, if there's designated parking areas and there's space available, then people should use those spaces. If they're parking right on a curb and they're blocking a sidewalk, if a disabled person goes by, he or she would have to probably go out into the street. In fact, one of the bus stops that I frequent is in front of a Little Caesar's Pizza, and someone had parked and stuck the whole back end of their car over the sidewalk. So I went into the Little Caesars and said, there's someone parking and blocking the sidewalk. That it would be a problem for a disabled person going by there. So fortunately, the person who did that apologized and moved, but some other people would not. They wouldn't care. There's Darnell. Thanks for dropping in. Glad you could hang out for a bit. There is still more in this bag that I chose not to get into. But I had a little fun with the spaghetti. Yep, I got that out. Threw a little bit of that on. So I hope everyone is going to be enjoying the relative warm-up that we're going to have through the end of the year. Forecasted highs here after Tuesday are supposed to be in the 30s and 40s. That's Fahrenheit. So that will seem very warm compared to what it was last Thursday and Friday. I don't know how I can read that. Just trying to focus on it. Rain has been originally predicted. Yeah, next Thursday is the greatest chance of rain. I still got a little bit of this cheese spread. Now, today I hand washed all of my wool socks and I hung them up in my bathroom on the shower curtain rod, and I turn my heat lamp on. I'm hoping that'll help them dry faster. It has one of those 250-watt light bulbs, which actually does, it's not just a heat producer, it has actual light. But I turn that on. I'll probably turn that off when I'm done with this stream, because personally I'm not a big fan of heat lamps, but they do have their purpose, so I'm using it to help dry my wool socks that I hand washed. And some of that heat will probably find its way into my bedroom. I don't have any heater on in there. I like it cooler when I sleep anyway. Plus I have a wool blanket on my bed. So in a few days I'll probably be rolling that off. And I'll turn my heater back down to 64 where I would prefer to keep it. Yeah, I bet because you had the rain and then the snow, you're going to have some ice in the morning. And speaking of humidity, I don't try to add a whole lot of humidity in the winter because humidity is not good for food storage. You know, if I had a central air system with individually regulated rooms, then I could probably change that. But because I have my food storage in my apartment, and I only have, the only way I can add humidity is to do what I did for this prep would be boiling water. So that does add humidity when you're boiling water, you're making soup or you're cooking pasta or something like that. You're adding humidity when you do that. Even when you run your coffee maker, that adds some humidity. But my little thermometer that I keep in here, it'll say LL, which means it's too low for it to register. But right now, 40%. So just by me boiling water and running my coffee maker, I did put humidity into the air. Of course, I also did that when I hand washed and rinsed my wool socks. Even if you're not using hot water, you're still running water, you're putting humidity in the air. But normally in the winter, my humidity, when I'm not kicking out a lot of steam from hot water or when I'm taking a shower, usually it's in the 20s as far as the percentage. Sometimes it can be in the 30s, just the way things are from what's around me. It's in the summer, that's when I really have the problem. It's hard to get rid of the humidity. But everybody's place is different. And I'm sure every apartment in this building is different because of where it is, what's in it, who's in it. I just sucked what little was left of the cheese out of the packet. That's just what I do. I'm going to go ahead and break this Pop-Tart since it was starting to break anyway. The chocolate filling leaks out through the holes. And then there's a little drizzle on top. Yeah, this is the chocolate, although I wouldn't call it chip necessarily because I can't discern any individual chips in this. But inside of the pouch, there was no inner wrapper. Sometimes you get that when you get the Pop-Tarts in a ration. Sometimes you don't get that extra wrapper. I don't know why they can't be consistent with that. And even if that wrapper is really thin, it provides just a tiny bit extra protection for it. It's more like a chocolate filling that you would find in some other cookies. Ooh, ouch. Ugh, cancer sucks. I lost relatives and friends to it. I sure hope that this chemo works and you kick that cancer to the next galaxy. Yeah, that chemo can really be rough. But just got to remember you're not facing it alone. There are people who have gone through it before and others who've known people who've gone through it. I lost my dad and my maternal grandmother to cancer. And I've also had friends deal with it. And then I've had relatives and friends beat it. So hopefully you can be one of those who beats it. Yeah, you just keep fighting a good fight, and one day you'll get to go to that facility, and every cancer ward or cancer center that I've heard about has a bell like an old time school bell with a rope hanging from it. And when you're when you're either declared cancer free or in remission, you have to ring that bell before you walk out of there. And that's like signaling to everyone else present that you're leaving that place alive and not in a box. Sorry about that. So that's the best we can. So we can hope for that. You get to do that. Well, that's good that your mom is doing well. And that the treatments are working. So we just have to keep hoping and praying. Yeah, there is a seller on eBay who went through cancer herself, and what she has done is she makes hats that are very fashionable for people who have lost their hair, especially for women. She also makes scrub hats for people who work in the medical facilities that need to wear a scrub hat either in the OR, or if they need to cover as much of themselves as possible for whatever reason. And then she makes underscarves for Muslim women, but she makes fun and funky hats like for sports teams or cartoon characters, a holiday theme. CJ Hats is her eBay store. So I bought a few of those from her. And I got an Iowa Hawkeyes one, and then there's some that have cats, because when you're owned by a cat, you kind of want to go for something that has cats on it. So I have a Cat in the Hat one. It's a Christmas theme one, but Cat in the Hat, you just can't go wrong with that. And then I watched a video, this is probably like 4 or 5 years ago that I've seen it, where a henna artist will do what's known as a henna crown, whereas henna is mostly done on the hands or arms or the feet. It's popular in India and Africa and Muslim women. I've had it done a few times by people who are pretty good at it. I've tried it myself and totally botched it. But this woman does it on the heads of women who have lost their hair due to cancer. And she calls them henna crowns. And the patterns are very intricate. And when these women get it done and they see what their head looks like, it lifts their spirits up, just makes them feel like they're still beautiful, like they still have all the qualities a woman should have. And of course, some people may opt to wear a wig until they get their hair back. If if it doesn't feel like it's a bother, itches their scalp or causes irritation, because sometimes the scalp can be sensitive after you lost your hair. I've never had that happen myself, but I know people who have had that issue. If you wear a hat that feels good and still looks cool, that would make you feel good. But oh, that's good. This is the Minotaur lemonade drink mix. It's not too sweet, not like some commercial lemonade mixes that are pre-sweetened. I mean, it has sugar in it, but it dissolves very well. This is the one that you would get in an MRE or a more modular, operational ration enhancement or a first strike ration. This is the kind that you would normally put in the 500 ml water bottle, which this holds that much. But these are the sugar-free kind, so there's very little powder. That's all the powder is, right up to here. But because these have an artificial sweetener, they can tend to have a bit of an aftertaste. But I still keep these because they are small. They're easily packable. I have a few of these that I use for camping, especially in the summer, warmer months. I may mix one of these in my water. And plus, you can always buy the commercial ones that have electrolytes in them. And those are very handy for hot days. Yeah, I like the real sugar ones because artificial sweeteners can cause issues. And if I consume enough of it, yeah, it causes problems for me. So I try to avoid them. Once in a while, like one serving, I'm okay with. But another reason why, if I get the artificial sweetener packets, I don't throw them away. I save them for those that have to use them, or for, say, I'm somewhere, I want to sweeten coffee or tea or whatever, and I run out of my sugar. I have that as a backup. or I can share that with someone else, and I have done that. My one friend here, fellow YouTuber who is diabetic, I have given some to her, and she uses them, so that's why I keep those around in case she needs them. So I have packets of the Splenda, I have packets of the Equal or the store brand, I have packets of the NutraSweet or the store brand, and I have the stevia based ones. I have packets of that. So I have a variety of those. And so that Splenda packet will just get added to my supply of those. Yep. And the chewable glucose tablets, which a diabetic and hypoglycemic would have to have in case their blood sugars do get low. They can chomp on that if they don't have some sugary liquid to drink. You can also get a glucose gel or glucose paste that does the same thing. But the tablets, you don't have to worry about spillage or melting or anything like that because they're solid. So, because I've been around diabetics for a good chunk of my life, that's why I will buy a container of those glucose tablets every once in a while just to have them on hand. And next month, I will get the quarterly health insurance spending allowance that I can use on medical supplies, over-the-counter medicines, certain devices, and I've used that benefit to get those glucose tablets. You can get them in the bigger bottles, or you can get a travel tube. So you get that travel tube that holds like 10 of them. Then you get the bottle. If you're a regular user of those, you can just refill the travel tube from that bottle. Just like those little tiny tubes that you can get Tylenol or Advil or Aleve in. You can always reload those. When you use up what was originally in there. Yeah. And because I used to work in healthcare as my last job, I want to make sure I have plenty of medical supplies. So I have several places where I keep them. You know, I even have a few children's medicines, even though I'm kidless. I have some of the elderberry stuff. Yeah, I would suggest getting a medical book, an intro one that's not too expensive is one called Where There Is No Doctor. There's a companion book called Where There Is No Dentist. Then there are some other medical, survival medicine type books, or you can really go up and get one that's called the Survival Medicine Handbook by Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy, the Altons. You can find those on Amazon. I have all three of those. Plus, when I took nurse aid classes at local community college, I kept that book that I used. So if you know of someone who has worked or studied medicine, you could get a book from that person, or you can go to a college bookstore and look for a used one. Well, I wonder what the fishmonger cooked for dinner. There's David in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I'll get the focus back on here. This is the ration of the month for October from the Minotaur Trading Company subscription service. This was in my mystery box that I bought this month. So this has some additional stuff that I did not pull out. Chocolate hazelnut protein drink. And these are seriously loaded with powder. So there's that. The spoon, which will get added to my collection of ration spoons and other spoons I picked up from various places. This is a company called Better Oats. It's a 100-calorie maple brown sugar oatmeal. And this is a slim pack. Normally the oatmeal packs are about this tall. This one's a skinny one. This one has flax seeds in it. And this is actually labeled where you can put water in here, so the inside of this packet is moisture proof. but it's just a simple packet. It's not a gusseted pouch. I think this is the same contents. I don't see a weight on this packet, but this is roughly about the same amount you'll get in the other oatmeal packets. And flameless ration heater. I save all of these that I get because there may be a time where I would need to use these in order to heat a retort pouch or a beverage bag or a small hard container like a little can. A packet of cocoa mix, which will find its way into my camping food bag. Beef bouillon. I have a Mylar bag with these in it, so that will go in there. This is a packet of toothpaste. And it feels like there's enough in here for maybe 2 to 3 uses. It is a wet wipe. This is the stick lemonade that you get in an American Ration. I chose to do the Minotaur one over this because these small stick packets are great for travel. There's a little packet of salt. There's a pepper. An extra sugar packet. This came with 2 sugar packets. I only used 1 for my coffee. This is the Splenda that I was talking about earlier. White matchbook, but D.D. Bean and Sons. And orange Lifesaver candy. I'm just throwing all these things back in here. I'll stick these elsewhere later. But the main was, like I said, this said spaghetti. And out of my fridge, yeah, I did that. Because why not? It came with a plain cheese spread, so I put that on Italian breadsticks and some on the spaghetti as well, in addition to the parm. There's a chocolate Pop-Tart with no inner wrapper. I'm surprised it held up in transit as well as it did. And there's raisins. It depends on the candy. Ones like this do not tolerate heat as well as something like a solid sugar like the sweet tarts, the the Hard Spree, the Tic Tacs, the Nerds, the White Lifesavers, the mint, and now they have an orange one that looks like the mint ones, except it's orange flavored. Whereas this can melt. Also the conversation hearts that you would find ahead of Valentine's Day. And the Smarties that are known in other countries as rockets. But the little tiny discs that are not much bigger around than the Lifesavers whole. So those, if you're going to store candies for long term, those would be the ones to get, or something like them. Now, chocolate would have a tendency to melt if it's not stored in a temperature controlled environment. The charms, see, this would have an oil component, or some of them might have like different oils, or either as an ingredient or as a glaze on the outside. Sorry, I had a brief disconnect. But yeah, but the White Lifesavers, so Tic Tacs or similar mints or Altoids. Because the Altoids are a hard sugar disc. Those would be a good one to store. Then there are other mints that are similar from other brands. And then Amazon sells caffeinated mints. They're similar to the caffeinated mints that you would find in a First Strike ration, but they might have a different shape, different flavors. So every time I get one of those Canadian IMPs, the Tic Tacs get packed away. I do save the gums that I get as well. I'm not much of a gum chewer, but I still want to have it on hand in case I do need it. The military energy gum is a caffeinated gum. And you can buy those packets of that from different sellers. Foreign MRE had some. And sometimes when they were doing the mystery boxes, you might find a pack of it in there. So that's another thing that you can have a good supply of. Oh, you might be able to find some gums that are more denture friendly. They might be more expensive, but your dentist might be able to give you some suggestions on which ones you can get. I'm sucking on the Lifesaver. Yeah, you look into that. That would give you some options. Well, I hope I do provide something useful. Yeah, one of my sisters has dentures, and my niece, as young as she is, she has dentures because she had some problems with her teeth. She had to get them all yanked. And of course, my mom is on her third set of dentures. But those have come a long way since they were first introduced in the plastic type form. But thanks for dropping in, Mike. Yeah, that can be a problem. I'm not sure if that was my niece's issue of some of the meds she's been on. I had a crown put on one of my teeth at the beginning of this month. Because a tooth is cracked. And the root was pretty much, I had a root canal. Because the root was infected, so that was cleaned all out. And then I got the crown put on. So my second crown from the dentist that I have been going to for the past few years. Well, I hope you can not only get them, that you can afford them or get them covered by insurance, but you can get some that are properly fitted. And the teeth that are on them are molded correctly. That was my mom's issue with her first two sets. Especially the first set that she got. They were giving her trouble all the time. And the dentist didn't want to do anything about it. She just had to live with it until she was able to get to a dentist that could make a better pair. But because she's had dentures for so long, they would wear down. But the set she currently has seems to be the best so far. You would just have to watch for the tiny seeds, especially strawberry seeds, whole spice seeds, especially the small ones. Or bits of nuts and larger seeds. Yeah. If you can get a payment plan worked out with the dentist, that might be a big help. In fact, that's what I've done. My insurance doesn't cover everything. So I've been making monthly payments, and as I have new procedures added, that just gets added to what I owe. Of course, I don't go every single month, but I make a payment every single month. So I pay that down. So I hope to get to a point where I get a dental insurance plan that will actually cover more, and I won't have to pay as much as I have been, and I can pay down what I owe and then just be done with that. Ooh, blackberries, yummy. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's a good thing to have. Like a few months ago, I bought a couple of those dental repair kits, which are basically temporary filling kits. But a dental glue would be a good prep to have for dealing with cracks in the dentures. My dentist had talked about me getting a bridge, but the insurance does not cover that at all. So when I had a tooth bust that could not be repaired, I just said, yank it. I'll just live without it. I may actually look for some kind of a denture glue just to keep on hand for anyone that I know that wears dentures may need to have it, and I could help them out. Maybe your dentist could give you an idea of a brand to buy if you're going to get it for yourself, or if you had to get some more of what you had. But yeah, I may look into getting some of that myself, just to be able to help out my 3 relatives who wear dentures. At least those that are close to me. I got other relatives who have them, but they're not in my city, so. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, is that denture adhesive. Or even something like the the C-bond pieces that you cut to fit inside of the dentures as opposed to using the cream. I think the C-bond would probably last in storage longer than the cream adhesives. But I also have the denture cleaning tablets that you just drop in water and put your dentures in it and let it do its thing. No, what I meant is how long does it last in storage before it either loses its effectiveness or just doesn't work. I have a couple of packs of those tablets, like the Effordent or the Polydent or store brand or whatever it is. Yeah, my relatives, they also do that. But by me having those on hand, I can help them out, or I can use them as a barter item. I can trade a few with someone for something that they have that I need. So that's another reason why I do that. Yeah, I'm just switching back and forth between the coffee and the lemonade. And of course, this bag will get reused. Yeah, I think you could, if you had a bridge, or what some call a partial plate, you can use those denture cleaners on that. You just don't have as much stuff for it to work on, but it still does the same thing. Uh, my one sister who has dentures, she got a bridge that she had for a while when she had some of her teeth yanked, but then when she had to lose more of them, she just told the dentist to just yank them all and have molds taken for dentures, so that's what she did. Yep. I have a variety of sizes of the Mylar bags. I'm all out of the really small ones that are like the pint size. And I like to use those for herbs, or say if I dry a small amount of hot peppers on my dehydrator, I use those bags for that. Whereas the bigger bags for things like the rolled oats that I got when I did my grocery shopping earlier this month. Those went into a Mylar bag. You know, I've got pasta in them. I've got all kinds of stuff in them. And I put some things in my canning jars that I have. I don't do canning in the literal sense of putting a soup or a meat or sauce or something like that in a jar and then putting inside of a big pot. I'm not able to do that, but I still use the jars for dry storage. So I have assorted foods in those. And except for salt or sugar that I put in there, I still put an oxygen absorber in the jar. You don't want to do that with salt or sugar because then it'll become rock hard. Or I still have to deal with hard salt at the mosque because our supply room where we keep some of that stuff has high humidity, and I put one of those moisture absorbers in there. But I'm going to be changing that out with the last one that I bought, I think last month. It's one of those that has a 2-section bag. The top part of the bag has the silica gel granules, and then the bottom part of the bag is where the moisture collects, and then when that's full, then you just dispose of that and hang a new one. It's like those moisture absorbers that come in a tub, and then you just take the holy lid off, pull the seal off of it that keeps moisture from getting into it during storage. Then you put that lid back on and it will start to absorb moisture, and then when it's full of liquid, that's when you get rid of that. Yeah, you can use moisture absorbers in salt or sugar. That's what I do. And you can get those in various sizes just like you can the oxygen absorbers. And get the moisture absorbers that are probably no bigger than that salt or pepper packets. And then you can get ones that are really big. They're packets, but they're still pretty big. That you put into a larger container. And I made some out of just plain white rice and number 2 cone coffee filters. I would put a little bit of the rice in the coffee filter, fold it over so none of the rice would leak out, and then I would staple it shut. And I got 18 of those out of a 1-pound bag of rice. I have some of them here, but then I took some of them to use at the mosque for sugar and salt storage when we had it in larger containers. But then someone would discover those and then just without thinking throw it away, not knowing what the heck it was. And I didn't always get a chance to explain to other people what that was and why I did that. But because the coffee filters are white, it blended in, and I guess, but yeah, those moisture absorbers are a good thing to have. That's why I get them. Yeah, I have a few of the smaller Augustin Farms buckets. But the rest of my buckets are just full of stuff that I chose to put in it. Like one of the Augustin Farms buckets, I took the pouches out of there and then I put those into different buckets, and then I used that one for small bags of one specific food item. And then the other Augustin Farms buckets I've left alone. But those pre-packed buckets leave a lot of room in there, so you could add additional stuff in there if you wanted. I just never bothered to do that. I just found places to stick them, and that's where they sit. But I did create my own food bucket that would be like a mountain house bucket with different pouches of foods. You know, like the mountain house, or I have a few backpackers pantry and some other ones in there. Then I got some like the muesli or granola pouches that you pour water in, you can zip the top. Like some of those in there. I got drink packets in there. I got coffee packets in there. I got water purification tablets in there. So that would be my grab and go bucket. That if I had to leave here, but take some more additional supplies other than what's in my bug out bag. Of course, it works best if I have a ride. That's okay, Wyoming. Oops. You get that mess straightened out. There'll be other opportunities to drop a super chat. But I will be contacting the issuer of that card, if you haven't done so already, and have it locked. While you wait for a replacement or whatever they're going to do. Yeah, so this bucket that I have put together, because it has such light stuff in it, it's not too heavy to carry. It has a variety of food in there. I have some food in my bug out bag, but I decided to go ahead and fill a 5-gallon bucket with additional stuff that I can just grab and go. Eventually, I'm going to get one of those collapsible wagons. That I've seen people have, some of my friends have them. So if I had to leave here, I could take that. I would take that wagon and my bug out bag, a food bucket, maybe something else I could put in that wagon. Then I could haul dupa to either get somewhere on foot or meet up with someone. Plus, I can use that wagon for camping. Like when I volunteer at the multicultural powwow, I'm using my biggest suitcase to haul all my gear down to where I set up my tent. If I had one of those wagons, I could get rid of the bulk of that suitcase and still be able to carry all of the gear that I want, because I could collapse the wagon down when I'm not using it after I get my tent set up. Or if I'm storing supplies in my tent, I could haul it up to my workspace. I do the kids' crafts. So I would store supplies in my tent, and then I could use the wagon to haul it up from my campsite to the kids' craft area. And that's what others did. They were using one of those wagons to haul stuff around. So I do want to get one of those. And because some of my friends have those sleds that you would normally pull behind you in the winter. We used it in warmer months for hauling firewood, as well as our gear and supplies. So we've done that with those sleds. But I do want to get one of those wagons. I got one on my Amazon watch list, and I got one on a watch list on eBay. And Walmart sells them too. But I want the best one that I can afford. Yeah, I was given money last night by two different relatives, but I'm going to use that money to rebuild my emergency cash stash. I had one, but then I had to get into it. You know, at the beginning of the mess with the big nasty in 2020, I knew it was coming, so I got into my cash stash and I loaded up on supplies that I would think I thought that I might need to have handy. Like I got cleaners, hand sanitizer, and the disposable masks, not the N95s, but the flat ones. The cheaper ones, and a box of gloves because I like having all that stuff on hand anyway. So I loaded up on stuff like that. So any gift money. Of course, I've also used gift money to buy preps anyway. But I went to have an emergency stash cash. Yep. That would be another use for it. Is hunters can use it to haul their kills out so they can process them. Yep. I guess we're all still here. A few have dropped out. But yeah, so that's the plan is any gift cash that I get, I'm not going to spend it unless I have to. I still collect quarters every time I turn in cans and bottles. And since I was given a 6-pack of Pepsi last night, plus I had started to drink one while I was there from another 6-pack, I got 7 additional bottles that I can get a nickel for each one. So I will probably turn those in I don't know. I'll decide when I turn those in. I started a second bag. I use cloth bags to put those in, or sometimes I'll put them in my grocery hauler suitcase so I can carry them in a bus and conceal them. And last night we did that white elephant gift exchange. And my gift went to someone who will be getting their new vehicle, well, new to her. So that pair of gloves, a hat, a snow brush, and those hand warmers that I showed in my shopping haul videos, that all went together, plus those candy canes I threw in there just for fun. I got that in. I got that for, I hope someone who could use them in their vehicle. Well, she will be getting a car probably in the next few couple of months or so. But I told you can use the hat, the gloves, and the hand warmers now. But the snow brush is for your vehicle when you get it. And I was watching a video today where someone was talking about winter items to keep in a vehicle, and a snow brush with the scraper on one end is something you gotta have. So I figured someone would end up with those who could use it. And sure enough, that's how it worked out. Yep. You know, when I give a gift, I do it with the idea of helping that person get prepared for something. And then I ended up with one of these oversized hoodies that it's probably like equivalent of a 5X, but it's meant to be oversized. But it's very soft on both the inside and the outside. And it's longer than your average hoodie. It goes halfway down my thighs. That's how long it is. At least on me. But one of my sisters has one in a different color, and she's been wearing it a lot. So when it was my turn to pick one of the numbered unlabeled gifts, they only had a number on it. I picked the box, and it had a Casey's gift card. Too bad CT wasn't here. He could have ended up with the Casey's gift card so he could get pizza with it. But anyway, one of my sisters ended up with that, because what I did was, see, when you do the white elephant, if you open up something but you want to steal from another person, that's what I stole from that person, was that oversized hoodie. And this other person ended up with the gift card. But then a couple of rounds later, one of my sisters did this steal on, it was my great niece, who was standing in for her mother because my niece was working. So my great niece was kind of standing in for my niece. So my sister ended up drawing, or no, it was not my sister, but my younger nephew's girlfriend ended up with my gift that I had brought. But she already had those things, so when she saw the gift card that my great niece was holding, she decided she wanted the gift card. So she stole that from my great niece, who was standing in for my niece. And so my niece, when she got here, she got there after getting off work, she saw what she ended up with, and she was very happy to get that. And others had given her gift cards so she could have money for gas. So that was the first time we had done this, where you're assigned a number and then you get to pick. Of course, then the last person who got the last gift could then do one last steal. And then she stole the gift card from my nephew's girlfriend, and so then she ended up with the bags of beef jerky, which she'll share with my nephew. So then my sister ended up with that gift card so that she can use it to gas up her car. Yeah, it can be pretty fun doing that, and the more people that are in on it, it makes it even more crazy. And we had a $25 amount to shoot for. You could be a little under or a little over, but that was the average. Oh, gag gifts can be fun too. We did that at a company that I worked for back in the 90s. And I had gotten a hold of this little miniature coal bucket, or like an ash bucket that you would have for a fireplace. And then the black licorice that was made to look like miniature lumps of coal, and a tiny little toy pickaxe. And I wrapped that up. I found this at some candy store I was in. And I wrapped that up, stuck it on her desk when she was away on break. And everybody laughed their heads off after seeing it. I've never been able to find anything like that since. Well, sort of speaking of wrapped up things, what what ration am I going to pull out next Sunday? I'm thinking the cheese pizza. And now that I have a second slice of the cheese pizza, I can have two pieces. So I may do that. Hopefully mine will be better packed than CT's was, because his accessory packet had the sugar, creamer, and a Splenda packet, but no coffee. So whenever that accessory pack was put together, the coffee didn't make it in. and either the sugar packet was not supposed to be in there or the Splenda packet was not supposed to be in there, and that made it in, but no coffee. And I think there was something else that was not right. I think he got a double of something else. I don't remember what that was. Was it 2 rolls of TP? I think he got in there. He got 2 rear rolls in that one, I think. Yeah, that would be a trip. Yeah, I think that's the MRE I'm going to pull out next week. Yeah, yeah, probably wouldn't work for no fish ears, so you have to have some kind of ears, I guess. Yeah, it's one of the newest USMRE menus. So here it is. It's a menu 11. It's pizza slice cheese. And this is what it looks like. This is a really thick one. It's as thick as a cornbread or one of the pound cakes. Well, at least this particular one is. So this is packed by Sterling Foods. But the MRE was packed by Warnick. So they do not put date codes on the ration bag. But this one, I'm going to look for a date code on this thing. I'm not seeing a date code on this one, but this is 21. I'm pretty sure. I think that's how new this menu is. But anyway, I will be adding this one to this. Yeah, this Bridgeford as well as Sterling did the pepperoni pizza. So this one is a Sterling. I don't know if Bridgeford has done the cheese pizza for US MREs. I know the one of them, let's see, the cheese pizza that I got when I got one from allmres.com, I think they were Sterling as well, but it's been a few years since I've had that. Yeah, finding a fresh case of 21s might be a little more difficult than finding 20 pack. I don't know if Bob at Minotaur Trading Company has any cases for sale, or if he's sold all of those and just has loose ones like this. But some people with commissary access have been able to get newer MREs because sometimes those bases may choose to get rid of overstock, and so they put them in the commissary. For anyone who has commissary access can get it. You know, there's another reviewer who has commissary access, so he went in there and got a few MREs that were probably as new as this. And then there's a channel I watch. He's up in Alaska because he was a former military. Veterans have commissary access. So he will go in there and get food and some other items at a slightly lower price than other stores. So he'll do some of shopping for his household there, in addition to going to Sam's Club or Costco or other stores up. Well, he doesn't have a Sam's Club in his area anymore, but he has a Costco. So he goes up there into that Costco as well as other stores to get whatever he's after. And then his wife will do shopping at places like that. But yeah, I'm still waiting on my RCIR that I ordered from MRE Mountain. So my last tracks at either the notice was being sent to customs that a package was coming in, or it's already in the States and being processed and probably pilfered. I haven't checked in the last couple of days, but that was my last check on tracking that the word customs showed up in that update. So I hope it gets left alone. Oh, that's good. So there you go. That will give you some video fodder. But Nation MRE finds I won one of his prizes. The Carlos Perry won one. And I don't remember who won the other one. But he had 3 different prize packs that he was giving away. And my cat is getting into my ration box, so I better do something about that. Pumpkin, it's not for kitties. It's not for kitties. You silly little girl. Let's do this. Pumpkin. 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 What you gotta say for yourself trying to get into my rations, huh, Pumpkin? That I'm gonna say is meow? Hmm? Silly little girl. Yeah, she was a silly little pumpkin. Silly little pumpkin. Well, and plus you would have a better chance at buying it than I did. My attempt was a fail because it wouldn't accept any payment method I tried. So I had to tell the seller that my payment will not be accepted because either that person can't ship to the U.S. or even PayPal balance would not be an acceptable payment method, or it wouldn't accept dollars. I don't know. I mean, eBay will convert it to the seller's currency. So I hadn't, when I bought a Polish ration, the lesson I had from Poland, I had no issues with my dollars converted into his currency. Of course, Poland uses the euro now. It used to be the zloty. But anyway. Yeah, that sucks. That's what happened to the last time I ordered this same RCIR menu. Was the 2 mains and the pate got taken, plus the spork from the stove kit got taken. but everything else was left. Pumpkin. My silly torty girl. Everybody likes the pumpkin. Yes, they do. They like the pumpkin. She always does that with her tail. Mila would swing her tail wider, almost like a slow dog tail wag. No, she jumped off. Okay, I'll put this back up here. Yeah, so do I. She's got some unique markings. I was looking at tortie cat pictures on Google, and I didn't see any others exactly like Pumpkin. But yeah, she has a very interesting look. Yeah, and her front paws, it's like one finger is almost white. It's almost the color of my phone mount. See right? Let's see if we get this. Like that's almost that color. But the guy I got her from called her a calico, but she didn't have any white. She just has the other colors. So to me, she's more of the tortoiseshell look. So my little sign that I had on my door that said "Spoiled Rotten Tuxedo Cat lives here," I took a red marker and crossed off the word tuxedo, and then I took a black one and wrote tortie above that. So now it says "A spoiled rotten tortie cat lives here." Uh, She was 2 years old last year when she came to me, so she's 3 now. I don't know exactly when she was born because the guy didn't tell me that when he brought her to me. He just told me that she's 2 years old. But Mila was 18 and a half, and it's been a while since I had a very active cat. And she is quite active, even though she's a big girl. Pumpkin is just one of those bigger built cats. Yep. They are like members of the family. In fact, my mom called Mila my kid since I never had any human kids. Either had feathers or fur. Yep. I will always keep Mila as my profile picture. I just I just can't change it. You know, this Canadian channel I watch, he had a dog named Scout, and he had a silhouette of his head as his profile picture for his channel. But after that dog died, he never changed it. He always kept that particular picture and still does, even though he has had a few other dogs come into his life. But when you have an animal that is that special, you just have to keep something of that one around. So that's why I will keep Mila, her face, as my profile picture. I do that on Facebook. I do that on Instagram. I do that on Twitter. So if I have an online account and I can put a profile picture, Mila goes there. You know, that'd be a one thing to do. Any animals that I've gotten myself, I've always given them Polish names. But I won't change Pumpkin's name. I do not want to confuse her. Oh, good. Glad you did. Those things looks like they're really loaded. So you should definitely get a couple of meals out of that thing. But I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one good so I can clean up my mess and put stuff away. And I will come back. Yeah, that would be. But I pick easy ones. Say, like I had a parakeet. I named him Lech after Lech Valenza. The couple that I got him from never named him, so I got to name him. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call this one good. I do want to thank you all for watching, especially those who've come in here for the first time. So next Sunday, it's pizza night. So I think that one should be an interesting one. But since I have two cheese pizza slices, I might have a little fun with one of them. We'll just have to see. Again, thanks all for watching and catch you on the flip side.